After getting back together with Samuel, we were still keeping the relationship under wraps. But this time, I stopped scheming to secretly make it known that I was his official girlfriend. Even when paparazzi caught me leaving his villa in the suburbs late at night, I would contact the media right away and help smooth things over. That night, I was only there to deliver a movie script. Please don't make wild guesses. Mr. Samuel and I are really just ordinary friends. There is absolutely nothing between us. But when Samuel saw my Weibo the next morning after waking up, his face instantly darkened, and he was clearly unhappy. Chapter 1. After a fairly satisfying round in bed with Samuel, he climbed off me. He threw on a robe and, looking thoroughly satisfied, headed to the bathroom for a shower. I was half reclining against the headboard, about to put on a short drama before sleep, when suddenly my phone rang. It was my agent, Roxana. Her voice was urgent, like something huge had happened. Diana, get on Weibo right now. Some paparazzi got photos of you going in and out of Samuel's villa in the suburbs. They're saying you still haven't given up on marrying into money. That after getting dumped once, you're still trying to climb your way up. My heart sank. It really was a big deal. Which bastard is trying to screw me over now? The last time Samuel dumped me out of nowhere, it was because I had secretly bribed paparazzi and teamed up with gossip accounts to post a photo online of me getting out of Samuel's luxury car. For a while, the whole internet was guessing whether this controversial, buzz-heavy actress had suddenly hit the jackpot. Had I latched onto the crown prince of Beijing's elite circles and was about to go from nobody to high society? But before I could enjoy it for long, Samuel directly released a statement distancing himself from me. I'm sorry to take up public resources, but I am not familiar with Miss Diana, and we do not have much contact in daily life. The photo was simply taken because someone asked me to give her a ride home. If any similar rumors continue to spread in the future, I will resolve them through legal channels. His friends also mocked me through every possible channel. What a joke. What actress? I've never even heard of her. How could Samuel possibly be interested in someone like that? This kind of news is obviously a publicity stunt. Can the media have any shame at all? A family like Samuel's, with that level of wealth and power, would only date girls from equally powerful families. Not every random nobody gets to come over and leech off the name. For a while, my Weibo comments were practically overrun by haters. Everyone laughed at me for being delusional and willing to do anything for publicity. My work stalled. Roles were recast. Even several brands I'd worked with for years quickly cut ties with me. As for Samuel, he only sent me one breakup text, accusing me of being manipulative. And after that, I could never reach him again. For a full 6 months, I stayed trapped in a low, miserable state of confusion, anxiety, and helplessness. And it wasn't just because of work. It was also because of that relationship that had been cut off so brutally. Yes, I really was that pathetic. I genuinely had liked Samuel, and during that period, the only person who stayed by my side was Roxana. When she went with me to meet investors, she would comfort me while also looking at me like I was a hopeless case. Diana, have you lost your damn mind? You think marrying into a rich family is that easy? Dating these rich boys, getting a few resources and a little money out of them, that's enough. How did you end up throwing yourself into it too? Pretty girls who are 18, 20 years old are popping up non-stop like fresh chives. Why would a guy like that ever marry you? Think about it yourself. Chapter 2. The internet has no memory. New scandals and trends kept popping up one after another, and after more than half a year, people gradually forgot all about what had happened to me. Some low-budget dramas and variety shows started coming to me again. Compared to when I had been at the peak of my popularity, I had cooled off a little now, but I had also become much more serious and dedicated about my work. The ones who still followed me were basically the loyal fans who had stayed after everything was filtered out. When they heard I had landed a new role, they were all thrilled. They came to leave comments under my account. Keep it up, sis. We'll always support you. I watched the trailer already. It's amazing. Forget the past and keep moving forward. And it was at that moment that I ran into Samuel again. I had just finished filming my final rap scene and was walking out of the set. At a glance, I saw Samuel. He was leaning against that same silver Bentley, the one I had once arranged to have paparazzi photograph me getting out of, quietly watching me. Diana, it's been a long time. How did you end up doing productions at this level? He took out his phone and casually scrolled through it. I happen to have a pretty good movie script on hand. Big budget. S-level production. We're still missing a supporting actress. Interested? I hadn't expected to see Samuel again, and I froze on the spot. I knew that the moment he said those words, he was giving me a way out, giving me a chance to go back to his side. Half a year had passed. Maybe he was bored again. Maybe someone had casually mentioned me. Maybe he was suddenly feeling nostalgic. Whatever the reason, he had thought of me again. I almost didn't hesitate. Of course, I'd be willing. Chapter 3. The first person I told about getting back together with Samuel was Roxana. After hearing the news, she didn't seem especially shocked. But when we met for a meal, she still kept a straight face and reminded me several times, I know you have feelings for that guy. Once you get back together with him, you're definitely going to get emotional for a few days and start filling your head with all kinds of nonsense again. But this time, you absolutely cannot be stupid again. Let him sweet talk you into some money. Get you a few good scripts. And that's enough. Stop obsessing over useless things like status, marriage, having kids, spending your whole life together, okay? I nodded quickly. No one can fall into the same trap twice in one lifetime. I definitely wouldn't dare secretly make the relationship public again. But what happened next was beyond Roxana's expectations, and beyond my own. After getting back together with Samuel, I wasn't nearly as overjoyed as I had imagined I would be. When he dumped me back then, I had been devastated for so long, as if the sky had collapsed on top of me. But now, 6 months later, when I had finally returned to Samuel's side, I didn't feel that kind of happiness anymore. Everything felt so dull. The only thing that could still interest me was how much money Samuel had transferred to me again, or what resources he had given me. As it happened, a niche high-end luxury brand had just recently decided to enter the domestic market and was still looking for a spokesperson. Samuel said that if I behaved well, he would give me that spot. And then, right at that moment, this incident happened. Someone took photos of me entering Samuel's villa and posted them online. Wasn't that just cutting off my source of income? After getting Roxana's call, I hurried to assure her, I know, sis, don't worry, I've got it under control. I'm posting on Weibo right now, clarifying it immediately. I absolutely won't let the gossip blow up. Chapter 4. The paparazzi had probably bought traffic. The photos had only been posted for an hour, and already there were tens of thousands of comments and likes. I had to admit, that paparazzo really had guts when it came to making money. Weren't they afraid Samuel would blacklist them? I tapped into the comments section. Sure enough, just as expected, the top liked comments were almost all mocking me. This is killing me. What year is it now? Didn't she already pull this exact stunt half a year ago? Back then Samuel immediately posted a clarification and cut ties with this scheming bitch Diana. Why is she still here now? I remember her resources got so bad after that. She seriously learned nothing. Does she really want to get herself completely blacklisted? Get out of the entertainment industry already. I don't even want to see her face. Half a year ago, I had already been ridiculed by the entire internet once, so by the time I saw these comments again, I was already completely calm, face unchanged, heart still as water. I exited the comments and switched to the posting page. Very quickly, I drafted the statement and posted it from my own account. Sorry for taking up public resources, but Mr. Samuel and I are really just ordinary friends. There is no relationship whatsoever between us. I was photographed because I was entrusted by the production team to deliver a movie script. Please don't make baseless guesses. I'm currently focused on my acting career. If you're interested in me, feel free to check out the new film I'll be joining soon. Thank you, everyone. After the clarification post went up, it was quickly pushed onto the trending list. My fans came rushing in and rapidly took over the comments section, righteously pushing back against the hate. Did you see that? My girl denied having anything to do with Samuel. Who still dares say she's throwing herself at him? I'm dead. Is Samuel some kind of universal currency now? Does everyone have to like him? Thanks but no thanks. Not interested. Don't come over here trying to leech clout. Since you're already here, Don't leave without following Diana and checking out the S-level big production movie Ching Fong that she's filming, and that's coming soon. A few of the fans at the top interacted with me often enough that their usernames were already familiar to me. Looking at how strongly they opposed me being with Samuel, I actually felt a little embarrassed. But then again, there was no way I was ever going to marry Samuel. This current situation was nothing more than mutual use. And it was never going to be made public anyway, since no one would ever know about the underground relationship between Samuel and me. I felt perfectly at ease replying to my fans' comments. So I started soothing them. Okay, got it. There are rumors outside saying I want to marry into a rich family? No, I swear. If I ever wanted to marry Samuel, I might as well get hit by a car the moment I step outside, okay? I really have nothing to do with him. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. We're just not the same kind of people. Chapter 5. I went back and forth with my fans in the comments for about 10 minutes or so, and by the end even I was starting to get sleepy. Eventually my eyelids began fighting each other, and I couldn't hold out anymore. I turned off my phone, tossed it aside, and collapsed onto the bed. Samuel took nearly an hour every single time he showered. When I drifted off in a haze, I seemed to hear the bathroom door open at just the right moment. Someone came out from inside. Near my ear, through the fog of sleep, came a faint complaint. Asleep? A kiss landed by my lips. Diana, you've gotten lazy now. No more good night. No more hug before bed. Chapter 6. I woke up naturally the next day. When I opened my eyes, sunlight was already filtering through the gap in the curtains. I raised a hand to shield my eyes and casually grabbed my phone. It was already almost 10, and the very next second, I saw Samuel. He was coming out of the study, holding a laptop in one hand. When he heard the movement, he looked over at me, eyes narrowing slightly, his expression teasing, the corner of his mouth seeming to lift just a little. In an instant, my brain snapped fully awake from sleep. Samuel? Why was he still here? At this hour, shouldn't he already be at the office? He probably saw the confusion on my face, because Samuel directly tossed his phone in front of me. His phone wasn't locked, and the screen was displaying that paparazzi photo of me. Diana, what is this? Explain it. I had a video meeting this morning. 2 minutes ago I was still in the study, connected with the other directors finishing a discussion. The moment I came out, I saw my assistant had sent me this photo. So what? I hear you bribed paparazzi again? You really don't know how to behave. Huh? I immediately sat up straight and quickly understood what had happened. Samuel had probably woken up and gone straight into an online meeting. As soon as it ended, he received the paparazzi photo from his assistant and still had no idea that I had already publicly clarified everything. No wonder he was looking at me like that. After all, I did have a record. I hurriedly picked up his phone, scrolled down the screen, found the Weibo post I had published yesterday, and then held it up with both hands, respectfully offering it back to my sugar daddy. No, this time you really misunderstood me. I don't know that paparazzo at all, and I've never met them either. The moment I saw the news last night, I immediately posted a clarification on my own account and cut ties with you. You'll know as soon as you look. Samuel froze. He instinctively took the phone, then his brows drew tightly together, and he pushed his tongue against the inside of his cheek. Word by word, he started reading aloud the comments I had made while interacting with my fans. Don't worry, my career comes first. I absolutely have no intention of marrying Samuel. Samuel and I have no relationship. Not to mention that I'm not interested in him, he's not interested in me either. Okay? People in that social class only marry for alliances. Samuel let out a cold laugh. He lifted his eyes and stared at me without blinking. No relationship? Diana, last night you were still in my bed, and this morning there's no relationship? Chapter 7. Samuel got angry. The housekeeper had just brought him his coffee, but he didn't take a single sip. He threw on his coat and left. On his way out, he even slammed the door so hard it shook the whole place. I was a little stunned, curled up on the bed, unable to figure out what exactly he was angry about. That clarification statement I posted last night had been carefully worded line by line, so there really shouldn't have been any problem with it. By this morning, The rumors about Samuel and me had already been taken down from the trending list. The occasional scattered discussions that remained were all mocking our fake CP, saying the man didn't want the woman wasn't good enough for the man, and that no matter how you looked at it, there was no way to ship us. Wasn't that a good thing? Samuel hated being dragged into all the messy nonsense of the entertainment industry. This should have matched exactly what he wanted, shouldn't it? Then why had he looked like that? Chapter 8. When I can't figure something out, I usually stop thinking about it. Besides, I was busy now, and my relationship with Samuel couldn't take up too much of my energy. The most important thing in my life right now was the movie I was currently filming, the same S-level major production Samuel had promised to get me into when we got back together. I had gotten the role of the second female lead, because during the half year when Samuel and I were apart, the resources in my hands had been painfully scarce, and I had even taken quite a few obscure web shorts with barely any attention. The audience's opinion of me had also gotten worse, and many people thought I lacked ambition. This time, after finally getting hold of a good script, I secretly made up my mind that I absolutely could not drag the other actors down. I had to grab this opportunity and hold on to it tightly. Other than the times when Samuel contacted me, I spent almost all my remaining time on set. If I wasn't filming my own scenes, then I was studying the script or discussing the character with other people. Maybe because I worked hard, the director gradually started paying more attention to me. Sometimes, when I was sitting alone in a corner, he would even come over specifically to discuss acting with me. It honestly made me feel flattered beyond words, because this director was extremely famous. Bruno, not even 30 yet, and he had already won numerous international awards. There were simply too many actors in the industry who wanted to work with him to count. At first, I thought he would be the cold, aloof type, the sort who wore giant sunglasses on set all day and tortured people into shooting the same segment dozens of times before he was satisfied. Later, I realized that wasn't the case at all. He treated people very gently, and his conduct was always courteous and refined. Under his guidance, my acting improved incredibly quickly. There were several scenes I got through in just one take. One evening, I wrapped early and finished filming my part for the day. I got a boxed meal from one of the set assistants. Originally, I had planned to finish eating and then hurry to read 2 more pages of my character notes. But the moment I took my first bite of rice, I unexpectedly heard Samuel's name from the people beside me. Chapter 9. Ever since that last time, when the paparazzi snapped those photos and posted them online, and Samuel stormed out of the villa in anger, he had never contacted me again. If he wasn't looking for me, then I couldn't exactly go bothering him either. Back when I first fell in love, I was always bad at judging the right boundaries. I kept clinging to Samuel, constantly sharing all sorts of random nonsense with him. It got annoying. Now, of course, I had to learn my lesson. I couldn't keep acting so shamelessly anymore. Even though I didn't really want to listen to other people gossiping, the voices around me still kept drifting into my ears. They were packing up the equipment after wrap and seemed not to notice me. Did you see that gossip item about Samuel just now? Of course, it's already on the trending list. But isn't he supposed to be very low-key? Why has he been getting so many scandals lately? Come on, this time it's a real rich heiress. How is that the same as those entertainment industry rumors from before that were obviously for publicity? Ha ha ha. True, this time the woman's family is basically on his level too. So the crown prince is really getting married this time, right? I froze. Samuel was getting married? I picked up my phone and opened Weibo. Very quickly, I saw the trending push notification. CEO Samuel spotted picking up media tycoon's daughter Miriam at the airport in the early hours. Insiders say wedding bells may be near. I had heard of Miriam. Her father practically ruled the media world with one hand. A huge number of newspapers and magazines depended on her family's resources and connections. Come to think of it, the two of them really were a perfect match in terms of family background. No wonder Samuel hadn't contacted me lately, so he really was settling down. Instinctively, I opened our chat window, thinking about whether I should send some kind of congratulations. But after thinking it over, I decided to forget it. After all, ours had only ever been a mutually beneficial arrangement. Better not to get too involved in someone else's private life. I guess this was where my relationship with Samuel ended. Chapter 10. The movie was almost finished. Whenever I wasn't filming, I had already started thinking about the future direction of my career. The last time Samuel dumped me off a cliff, so to speak, more than half of my resources instantly dried up. This time it wasn't my fault, but I still had to make preparations in advance. Otherwise, if I ended up with no work again, I'd be in far too passive a position. The moment I thought of those 6 months with barely any exposure and almost no jobs, my brows drew together. Just then, today's shoot ended, and the director came walking over from the set with the script in hand. I had my head down and wasn't watching where I was going, and I nearly crashed into him. Bruno paused. His gaze settled on me. Diana? He tilted his head and bent slightly at the waist, as though studying my expression. What's wrong? Did something happen? You still have a very important scene tomorrow. If you're worried it might affect your state, would it be all right to tell me about it? Hearing Bruno ask me that, I realized that my expression probably did look pretty bad right now. Afraid he might misunderstand, I didn't mention Samuel. I explained in a few brief sentences. It's nothing personal. It's just that I'm worried that after I finish this movie, I might not have many resources left again. I scratched the tip of my nose, unsure how to phrase it properly. You probably know too, my agency isn't exactly one of the powerful ones. There aren't many projects in hand, and they don't have the ability to compete with major capital. If my agent weren't so good to me, I probably would have been given up on a long time ago. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid that if I don't do well in this film, I won't even manage to seize this one chance I have. And then little by little, all the audience will forget about me. For an actor who lives by the screen, that was the thing I feared most. When he heard me say that, Bruno was briefly stunned. Then he smiled softly. Diana, you really are surprising. Don't worry, you're doing extremely well in this film. You're talented. He lifted a hand, hesitated for a moment, and in the end gently patted my shoulder. As for resources, I actually have an entertainment company under my name too. At this stage, we still have quite a few projects lined up. Would you consider switching studios? Then you wouldn't need to worry about these things anymore. Chapter 11. Bruno asked me for my agent Roxana's phone number and said he would contact her personally. The two of them would discuss it together. My contract with my current company only had 1 month left. Roxana only had one artist under her, me, and she had been considering for a long time whether she should take me out and start independently with me. During the last few days before wrap, I filmed in peace while waiting for Roxana to get back to me, and while I waited, I ended up receiving a phone call I never expected. It was Samuel's close friend, Ryan, another ridiculously rich young master from Beijing's elite circle. When he called me, he seemed to be in a bar. It was a little noisy on the other end. Diana, I heard you've been filming lately? He coughed twice. Didn't you see the news? Something that huge about Samuel was all over the trending charts a few days ago. You didn't know? I was stunned. It took me a while to realize what he meant, and I asked, you mean that matchmaking rumor about him from a few days ago? So what? What does it have to do with me? My heart skipped a beat. Don't tell me they suspected again that I was the one who leaked it to the paparazzi? Hearing me say that, the person on the other end seemed stunned too. What does it have to do with you? Diana, are you playing hard to get right now? You definitely didn't act like this before. Need me to remind you how desperately you used to cling to Samuel? There are already plenty of women in your industry who want to latch onto him. Every time a woman showed up around Samuel, you acted like the sky was falling. You practically wanted to stick to his side 24 hours a day and announce your claim to the whole world. And you wouldn't let any other woman get close to him. With how tightly you used to keep watch over him. If you heard news that he was getting married, shouldn't you be losing your mind? I pressed my lips together. Ryan was right. That really was how I had been when I first got together with Samuel. I liked him too much. Without meaning to, I became possessive of him. And on top of that, Samuel never agreed to make my identity public. While all sorts of women constantly hovered around him, I hardly had any sense of security at all. So whenever I saw him talking to another woman, I'd want to wedge myself into the middle in some subtle way, using hints and implications to show that my status with him was different. Thinking back on it now, my behavior at the time was honestly ridiculous. Not just ridiculous, annoying too. I shook my head and said to Ryan, "Wasn't that just because I was immature back then? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing now. Since Samuel is going to marry for an alliance, I won't keep clinging to him anymore." The moment the words left my mouth, there was suddenly a loud crash from the other end of the call, like something had been smashed to pieces. I thought I vaguely heard Samuel's voice, but the call was cut off almost immediately. Chapter 12. I didn't take the matter to heart. After filming that evening, I took a cab back to my apartment. Ever since the news about Samuel's alliance marriage came out, I had moved my things out of his villa and moved into a place near the set. Come to think of it, this apartment had also been bought by Samuel, but after he bought it, he gave it directly to me, so the property owner listed was me. Since he had given it to me, there was no reason not to live there. Besides, the location, decoration, and size of the place all suited my taste perfectly. What I didn't expect was that when I opened the door today, I would see Samuel. Chapter 13. Samuel really did have a key to this place, but he had never come over without saying anything first. The room was thick with the heavy smell of smoke. Samuel stood up, turned on the air purifier, and looked over at me. His eyes were bloodshot. He seemed to have drunk quite a lot, and he didn't look in very good shape. "Diana, you moved your things out of the villa in the western suburbs?" There was no point hiding that. I gave a small hum in acknowledgement. Samuel stepped closer, and his hot breath brushed against my neck. His voice was hoarse. Why? Why? He was already going on matchmaking dates, and he was asking me why? I had just started to answer when Samuel suddenly leaned in toward me. He cupped my face in both hands, his thumbs pressing against my lips and rubbing hard. "There's something very off about you lately." "No, not right. Not right. Diana, you weren't like this before. You used to cling to me all the time. Don't you remember? Did something happen? Or did you meet someone? Has someone been tempting you these past few days?" Samuel was really drunk. The sober version of him would never say something like that. I opened my mouth, wanting to explain, but it was as if he had seized the chance. He lowered his head and kissed me. He kissed fiercely, his tongue sweeping through every trace of my breath, almost like he was storming a city. I had never seen this urgent side of him before, and I was nearly unable to breathe. I really couldn't take it anymore, so I gathered my courage and bit him, pushing hard with both hands. I shoved him away from me, then I glared at him and cursed. "Samuel, are you insane? If you're getting ready to marry someone, can you stop doing this kind of thing to me? I may not be a saint, but I still have some moral standards, okay? I'm telling you right now, I do not want to be your mistress." The metallic taste of blood spread between our mouths. Samuel touched the cut at the corner of his lips, but his mood actually seemed to improve a little. He let out a soft laugh. Leaning back slightly, he rested against the bookshelf beside him. At long last, he showed mercy and let me go. "You're angry? Diana, I knew you weren't as indifferent as you were pretending to be. All right, I don't have anything going on with that girl. It's just that her father and I have been working on a partnership lately, so he asked me to pick her up at the airport, and I went." "Stop sulking. You bit me so hard it hurts like hell. With those two sharp little teeth of yours. I swear I ought to have them filed down." After muttering all that, he seemed satisfied. The corners of his mouth lifted slightly, and he opened his arms, pulling me into his embrace. "Diana, I'm sleepy. Take me to bed." He was groggy. In the next instant, the alcohol rose further, washing away what little reason he had left, and he turned hazy again, mumbling as he drifted off. "Diana, be good. Don't make me angry." Chapter 14. I had a scene a little after 7 the next morning. When I left, Samuel still hadn't woken up. A little after 10, I finished filming my part. By the time I got into the nanny van to rest, my phone suddenly started vibrating. It was a message from Samuel. "Diana, where did you go? Off to film? Tisk. That's way too exhausting, isn't it? Is that guy Bruno keeping you all on a very tight leash? If you really can't take it, I can have a word with him and tell him to take better care of you. There's nothing in the fridge of this apartment of yours. What do you usually even eat? Don't tell me you live on boxed meals from the set every day. Forget it. I just so happen to be free today. Want to come out tonight? My treat. No idea what kind of fit he was having. Most likely the hangover from last night hadn't worn off yet, and his whole brain was still in some half-conscious state. I didn't reply. Then the phone buzzed again. Just as I thought it was going to be more useless nonsense from Samuel, I saw Roxana's name instead. This time I picked up immediately. Roxana was calling to talk to me about the contract. Bruno had already called her and discussed my future career plans with her. The two of them came to the same conclusion: my current company was too small, and there were neither enough good projects nor enough strong resources in hand. So it really would limit my future too much. And since my contract was about to expire anyway, it would be better to use this opportunity to switch companies altogether. Roxana coughed twice. I really didn't expect Bruno to call me personally. Diana, do you know what kind of background he has? His family, in terms of money and influence, they're no weaker than Samuel's. If he says he has an entertainment company under him, do you really think it's just some random entertainment company? You can tell just by thinking about it. There's no way the resources there are lacking. It's just that ordinary people don't know about it. So Bruno was actually the son of that powerful southern clan, one of the great wealthy families? But then again, thinking about it, it made sense. Even though he treated people politely, that noble, elegant air in everything he did was obvious at a glance. He clearly wasn't someone like me, someone who had clawed my way up from the bottom. After getting over the surprise, I quickly asked Roxana again, "What about you? If I leave, what are you going to do?" Roxana? After all, Roxana only had me as an artist, even though she had saved up quite a bit of money over the years and didn't have to worry about making a living. I still felt like I was causing her trouble. Roxana's bright, hearty laugh came through the receiver. "I'm jumping ship to the new company with you, and I'll keep managing you. Honestly, Bruno's backing is way too strong. I still had several years left on my contract with this company, and he directly paid my termination fee for me in one shot." Chapter 15. Before hanging up, Roxana brought up Samuel again. She said she had also seen the trending topic a few days ago and asked me whether I thought it was true. I hesitated for a moment. In the end, I repeated to Roxana, word for word, the explanation Samuel had drunkenly given me after coming back last night. Roxana went silent for a while. Then she let out a sigh. "I don't think he'd lie about something like that. I asked around about that heiress. She already has someone she likes. She came back to the country to marry her first love. It has nothing to do with Samuel. That thing a few days ago was probably just gossip accounts making stuff up. And he didn't bother to stop it." I let out an "oh." Strangely enough, not a single ripple stirred in my heart. Seeing that I had almost no reaction, Roxana paused, then slowly asked in a probing tone, "So, babe, what are you thinking?" From what director Bruno said, if we go to his company, we won't have to worry about being quietly blacklisted again like before. As for Samuel, do you still want to keep dragging things out with him? I glanced at my phone. In just the short amount of time I'd been on the call with Roxana, Samuel had already sent me several more messages. "Diana, why aren't you replying to my WeChat? I tried calling you too, but couldn't get through. Are you still filming? Does your movie really work people that hard? Out early and back late, with no time to rest at all? Just stop filming. One movie doesn't even make that much money anyway. I'll call for you. Come back and stay with me, okay, princess?" I rubbed my head and let out a bitter smile. Samuel had never really understood me. I thought, I really couldn't keep getting tangled up with him like this. Chapter 16. I didn't have any scenes tonight. I picked up my phone and made plans with Samuel for dinner. He replied very quickly, "Okay, your favorite Cantonese place? I'll book a table in advance." I didn't really care what we ate. "Do you want me to pick you up?" If he came to pick me up and the other staff saw it, there would probably be another bloodbath of gossip. So I directly refused. After filming wrapped, I drove myself to the place we had agreed on. It was a restaurant owned by one of his friends. Whenever we went there, they would specially save a private room for us. The privacy was excellent. When I pushed open the door and went in, Samuel was already there. He was wearing a deep gray custom-made suit. with a globally limited edition luxury watch on his wrist. Even his hair seemed to have been carefully styled. As I got closer, I could faintly smell a cold, expensive men's cologne on him. I was a little surprised. Had Samuel just come from some banquet? Why was he dressed up this elaborately? What was he planning to do? I grumbled inwardly several times, but still didn't dare ask. I didn't ask, and Samuel didn't explain. A strange silence hung between us. It lasted until the final dish was served. When Samuel suddenly put down his chopsticks, he straightened up, gently wiped his lips, and looked at me without blinking. Maybe because his hangover still hadn't fully passed. There was a faint pink tint on his ears, which looked especially noticeable. Diana. He coughed twice, picked up a napkin, and wiped his lips again as if trying to cover something up. Then he reached toward the seat beside him, took out an exquisitely wrapped box, and handed it to me. Here, wasn't this what you always wanted? You kept bringing it up to me again and again. Open it and take a look. The box in front of me was only palm-sized. It seemed to hold a piece of jewelry. For no reason at all, a sudden feeling of unease swept through my body, as if something monstrous were lying inside. But Samuel kept urging me on. What are you hesitating for, Diana? Afraid it's not what you wanted? I took a deep breath and lifted the lid of the jewelry box with my right hand. Lying on the red velvet lining was a jade bracelet. Chapter 17. I had seen this bracelet before. It was a keepsake left behind by Samuel's mother. He had always kept it in the bedroom of the old family house. The first time I saw that bracelet was when Samuel and I were in the middle of our passionate honeymoon phase. He was treating me pretty well then, and had even brought me back to the old house. Samuel's mother had died very early. After handing the company over to him, his father went abroad to devote himself to charity work. There weren't many people in the old house. Usually there were only a few servants around. When Samuel went to take a shower, he just left me wandering around the villa by myself. I wandered into the master bedroom, and since I had nothing to do, I simply lay down on his bed. When I turned my head, I saw that jade bracelet. It was a beautiful green, reflecting a crystal-clear glow in the sunlight. As if possessed, I reached into the glass cabinet, took out the bracelet, and gently slipped it onto my wrist. The next second, I heard Samuel's voice. Diana, what are you doing? At some point, he had already come out of the bathroom. He grabbed my wrist and yanked me up in one motion. Who told you to touch this bracelet? This was left behind by my mother. It's meant to be passed on to my future daughter-in-law. Quite a few elders in our circle know that. If you wear this bracelet and someone sees it, what? Are you trying to present yourself as my wife? He frowned. The way he looked at me was so full of contempt and disdain. It was like a sharp needle stabbing straight into my heart, stirring up a fine, dense ache. The moment I felt that, I should have realized in time that Samuel and I were never going to make it. But back then, I liked him too much, so much that I forced myself to ignore how awful that feeling was. I slipped the bracelet off my wrist and forced a smile, trying to ease the atmosphere. Can't I? Samuel, am I not your girlfriend? Even if I can't wear Auntie's bracelet right now, you could still introduce me to your family, your friends, your relatives. Samuel let out a cold laugh. For one instant, I felt that his expression was unbelievably cruel. Make it public? Diana, do you think you're worthy? Chapter 18. Several years had passed. Samuel and I had broken up, then gotten back together. And now, this bracelet I had once wanted so desperately but could never have had appeared in front of me once again. I didn't move at all. My whole expression had gone stiff. Samuel lowered his head slightly and gently touched my hair. He thought I had been stunned speechless by the surprise, and he chuckled softly. What's wrong? Too happy? Don't tell me you're so happy you can't even say a word. His Adam's apple bobbed, without drawing attention to it. He sat a little straighter and took a deep breath. I told you before, this bracelet was something my mother intended to leave to her future daughter-in-law. I've thought it through. Diana, we've been together for so long. You want to marry into my family. And I've reached the age where I should settle down and start a family. If we get married and make your identity public, that would actually be a pretty good choice, wouldn't it? After saying that last sentence, Samuel placed his right hand on the table and lightly tapped his index finger against it. That was always his tell whenever he was uneasy or nervous. Samuel, would he actually get nervous over my answer? Seeing that I still hadn't spoken, Samuel took another sip of red wine. I remember you once said you liked European-style weddings, right? We could get married in a castle in Europe. That should be very romantic. As for children, at this stage, I don't really care. It's up to you. If you don't like the villa in the western suburbs, then there's no need to move your things back. We can buy another house as our marital home. You can choose the location. I remember you said before that you like the sea, right? I didn't know if it was just my imagination, but when he was saying all these things, there seemed to be a faint kind of longing for the future in Samuel's eyes, as though he had already begun planning out life after marriage. Samuel, I slowly let out a deep breath. Then I pushed the box back exactly as it was. Whatever your relationship is with Miss Miriam, I think it has nothing to do with me anymore. Let's break up. Chapter 19. The air fell silent in an instant. Samuel, who had just been speaking with such eager excitement, suddenly darkened. His whole body seemed to turn cold to the extreme. What did you say? After a long while, he parted his lips. The words were almost forced out from the back of his throat. Diana, what do you mean? I had already stood up and slung my bag over my shoulder. When he asked that, I turned back once. It means exactly this. Samuel, I don't like you anymore. After you dumped me off a cliff like that, I really was miserable for a long time. But after getting back together now, I realized you're really nothing more than this. To be honest, it's all pretty boring. Behind me came the sound of glass shattering. He had probably smashed that bottle of wine worth hundreds of thousands onto the floor. I opened the door to the private room and walked out. He didn't come after me. I knew that with a pride like his, there was no way he could tolerate someone saying something like that to his face. Between us, having reached this point, it was truly over for good. Chapter 20. After laying everything bare with Samuel, I called Roxana and told her everything that had happened that night. Roxana was also stunned by the fact that Samuel had said he wanted to marry me. He wanted to give you his mom's bracelet? And he said he wanted to marry you? Was he drunk out of his mind? The milk shows up after the baby's already dead. Now that you don't even like him anymore, he suddenly wants to confess? Roxana's comparison cracked me up, and I burst out laughing. On the other end of the line, once Roxana realized my mood hadn't been affected, she slowly relaxed. She changed the subject and brought up my contract. I met with Director Bruno today. The entertainment company he belongs to was only founded recently, but not only is it financially strong, there also aren't many artists under it, which means they can focus on developing you as a priority. I'm pretty satisfied with it, so I already started the contract process for you. Want me to send you the agreement so you can take a look? Contracts Roxana had reviewed usually didn't have any problems. Still, since I had nothing else to do, I casually skimmed through a few pages anyway. As I flipped through it, Roxana kept reminding me. The new company is offering you treatment at the industry's top-tier standard. But during this period, because you're still in the middle of terminating your old contract, some platform accounts still need to be reviewed by your former company, so you won't be able to post anything for the time being, but it's only for 2 or 3 days. And there aren't any endorsements or programs being announced right now anyway. It won't really affect anything. I gave a small hum in acknowledgement. Other than that one time I furiously posted on Weibo to call out the paparazzi who had photographed me going in and out of Samuel's villa. I normally barely posted any updates at all. My account wasn't much different from a promotional account. Forget 2 or 3 days, even if I didn't post anything for 2 whole weeks. It probably wouldn't matter much. But what I hadn't expected was that precisely at that moment, a hot search about me exploded. Wealthy heir Samuel seen on a late-night date with scandal-ridden actress Diana. Official announcement soon? Chapter 21. This was already the 3rd gossip post about me and Samuel. I truly had no idea why the paparazzi were so devoted to digging into some romance between the two of us. What was even more baffling was that this trending topic was hotter than the previous 2. It looked as if someone had deliberately paid to boost it. In barely an hour, it had already firmly taken the #1 spot on the trending list. I didn't know which outlet had gotten hold of photos of Samuel and me having dinner at his friend's restaurant. The shots were extremely clear. They had even captured the box on the table. Someone, apparently from inside the circle, seemed to recognize the bracelet. I know. This was left to Samuel by his mother. It was supposed to be given to his future daughter-in-law. So how did it end up in front of Diana? That comment got tens of thousands of likes and was pushed straight to the very top. There were so many comments underneath that you couldn't scroll to the bottom. Is Samuel really going to marry Diana? Oh my God! But didn't Diana deny their relationship before? What's true and what's fake at this point? Heh. Above comment. And you actually believe denials from the entertainment industry? Does anyone have the Crown Prince's contact info? Can't someone just call him directly and ask? Aw. As it turned out, a reporter really did find Samuel and asked him what exactly the relationship between him and me was. Judging from the timing, this should have been the day after Samuel and I had dinner. In the video, he had just stepped out of his sports car when reporters surrounded him. What's my relationship with Diana? Samuel had an unlit cigarette between the fingers of his right hand. After hearing the reporter's question, he smiled with a teasing look. Why do you think Diana and I have been tied up in rumors for so long? Between a man and a woman, it's only ever that one kind of thing, isn't it? Besides, we're both at that age now. When the invitations go out, you'll all be giving us your blessings, right? Chapter 22. That was practically the same as making it official. Immediately, the topic Samuel and Diana's happy news may be near shot straight to the top of the trending charts. I stared at that video, completely dumbfounded. Roxana didn't even need to remind me. I immediately called Samuel. The phone rang several times, almost to the point of hanging up. Only then did he answer. On the other end, Samuel's voice sounded lazy and languid. So you still know how to come looking for me? What? Missed me? Samuel, are you out of your damn mind? I was so furious I could barely hold it in anymore, and I shouted right into the phone. Why did you say that kind of thing to the reporters today? What do you mean our happy event is near? What do you mean sending out invitations? Are we getting married or something? Do you have any idea what people are going to think of us when you say things like that? I heard the click of a lighter through the receiver. I forced myself to calm down a little and took a deep breath. Anyway, we already broke up, so go explain it to the media now. Just say that we're ordinary friends, and tell those gossip accounts not to make wild guesses anymore, okay? With the power of Samuel's family, as long as he wanted to, one short sentence from him would be enough to make those gossip paparazzi and tabloid media, who lived off traffic, stop spewing nonsense. But Samuel fell silent. After a long while, he gave a soft, almost mocking laugh, his tone loose and unruly. You tell me to release a statement, and I'm supposed to do it. Why should I? I won't. Chapter 23. Samuel was seriously driving me crazy. Roxana was busy dealing with the contract for the new company, and I didn't want to bother her. But the account I usually used was still restricted for the next few days. Left with no other choice, I started contacting some media people I'd known before. I wanted to see if I could borrow someone else's platform to completely clear up whatever was going on between Samuel and me. But strangely enough, the rumors about the two of us were spreading wildly all over Weibo. And yet not a single media outlet was willing to come interview me. Every reporter, the moment they heard my name, would say they were powerless or not interested. I'm not that stupid. Just thinking about it a little, I knew Samuel had to be behind this. But why? Don't tell me that after we broke up, he suddenly realized he was in love with me, and now wanted to use this method to secretly keep me, making our relationship public? The instant that thought appeared in my head, I shivered. Impossible. That was just too disgusting. The topic under Samuel and me was still burning hot. Originally, most people hadn't been in favor of us being together, but bizarrely enough, someone had apparently bought a huge batch of bot comments to flood the public feed, and marketing accounts started steering the conversation. They were saying Samuel and I looked talented and beautiful together, perfectly matched. Don't you think those photos of Diana and young Master Samuel have an incredible vibe? Exactly. The way the two of them look at each other is so affectionate. I'm starting to ship them. A glamorous actress ex a rich young heir. This is straight up CEO romance novel material. What exactly were all the people against them even unhappy about before? Anyway, I approve of this marriage. Diana's fans. Can you even find a better man than Samuel? I was so speechless I wanted to die. I even made a throwaway account myself, got on there, and started fighting with these idiots in the comments. After going to war alongside my fans and firing back at several comments, my phone rang. I didn't even look at the caller ID. I just picked up right away. Bruno's voice came through. Do you need me to put out a statement for you? Diana. Chapter 24. I met Bruno at a cafe. He said he had just found out that my account had been taken over by my former company, so I wouldn't be able to use it for the next few days. My account has a few million followers too. Do you want me to clarify it? Nowadays, a lot of top stars have already broken 10 million followers on Weibo. A few million may not sound like much, but Bruno's influence was enormous, and his status in the industry was high. As a rising director who had won many international awards, every move he made quickly drew attention. So when I heard Bruno's suggestion, my first reaction wasn't surprise, but panic. Would I affect him, or drag him down with me? I was already standing in the middle of the storm, and if he got pulled in too, people would definitely start thinking worse of him as well. My lips moved twice. It's okay. Anyway, my account will be unlocked again in just a few days. Diana. Bruno understood the hesitation on my face right away and sighed softly. He reached out toward me and gently held the fingers I had resting on the table. You don't need to worry about me, even if your account is back in your hands tomorrow. If I make a statement for you now, wouldn't that still be a few hours earlier? Even if it's only a few hours, I still don't want to keep seeing those rumors online. The rumors that keep tying you and Samuel together. Chapter 25. I hadn't even processed what Bruno meant by that last sentence before he had already opened his phone and logged into Weibo. Bruno's account was even cleaner than mine. At least I occasionally posted brand ads, scheduled charts for the next period, or replied to fans in the comments. But on Bruno's homepage, there were only a few lonely birthday greetings automatically pushed by the system. Even so, there were still quite a lot of comments under those birthday posts. Most of them were from other actors' fans. Director, please consider my girl for your next project. She's really talented. Congratulations on your award-winning work. Director, when does your next film start shooting? Please work with the best actor again. I'm super looking forward to it. Bruno had never replied even once. He sat down next to me, opened the posting page, and typed in front of me, "Hello everyone. I'm Bruno. Diana is an actress I've recently been working with. We've worked together for nearly a year. I think I probably know her better than most people on the internet do. That includes the rumors about her during this period. Right now, many people are saying that Diana and young Master Samuel are in a relationship, but Diana is sitting right beside me. Shouldn't we hear what the woman at the center of this story has to say?" After typing all that, Bruno handed the phone to me. At the bottom was a record button. In an instant, I understood what he meant. After taking the phone, I steadied my emotions. I'm Diana. As for Samuel, half a year ago, I really was in a relationship with him, but by the time our dinner photos leaked online a few days ago, he and I had already broken up. There is no relationship between us anymore. Chapter 26. Bruno pressed the post button. Then, after thinking for a moment, he probably felt that the buzz still wouldn't rise fast enough. So he added hashtags in the comments and tagged several gossip and entertainment marketing accounts. The tabloid media heard the commotion and immediately swarmed over like vultures smelling blood. I didn't know whether Samuel had paid them before, but with news this huge, driven by KPI pressure, almost no outlet could resist the urge to repost it. In less than an hour, Bruno's Weibo post was pushed straight onto the hot search list. The people in the public square who lived for gossip became active at once. Broken up? What's going on? Didn't these marketing accounts say just a few days ago that Samuel was going to marry Diana? And that bracelet too. Back then they swore it was some heirloom from Samuel's family. I really thought that photo was a proposal. But above commenter, if it wasn't a proposal, then why did Samuel answer so ambiguously when reporters interviewed him back then? Exactly. I can still find the video now. He himself said good things were coming between him and Diana. Looking at it this way, isn't that just him clinging to her? The first time rumors broke out about me and Samuel, Nobody believed it, and everyone cursed me for creating hype. The second time, I denied it myself, and the malice in public opinion toward me seemed to lessen a little. This was the third time. People had started to think there was something wrong with Samuel now, and some people had also brought up Bruno, that famous director. Why did he get involved in this mess too? Even if Diana is filming his movie, a director doesn't need to speak up about an actress's private life, right? Am I the only one who noticed Bruno's wording? He said he knows Diana better than most people. That sounds really ambiguous. Bruno was sitting right beside me, and under my gaze, he replied to that comment. It's not ambiguous. I'm pursuing her. Chapter 27. The internet exploded, and I was stunned too. I looked at Bruno, not knowing what to say for a moment. My lips parted and closed, and only after a long while did I manage to speak. Director, why you're joking, right? This is a public platform. So many people are watching. Bruno looked over at me, just about to answer, when a phone rang. It was his. Bruno instinctively lowered his head and glanced at the caller ID on the screen. Then he suddenly tugged at the corner of his mouth and gave a soft laugh. The next second, he put the call on speaker. Samuel's voice came through the phone. Bruno, what the hell are you doing? Have you lost your mind? What nonsense are you spouting online? What do you mean you want to pursue Diana? No wonder you posted that Weibo to cut off the rumors between Diana and me. So it's because you've had your eye on her all along, isn't it? We've known each other since we were kids. After all these years, you set your sights on my woman. Are you even human? It was the first time I had ever heard Samuel sound so furious and out of control. Compared with him, Bruno was much calmer. He held the phone, looking completely at ease. Your woman? We've known each other for so many years. Did you ever once bring Diana to one of our gatherings and introduce her to people in your circle? You were the one hiding her away. So don't blame someone else for taking her openly. Samuel, I look down on the way you do things. After saying that, Bruno hung up. I let out an awkward sound. You two have known each other since childhood? Bruno nodded. Even though one of us grew up in the south and the other in the north, our grandfather's generation could still be considered old family friends. He took my hand and held it in his palm. Diana, everything I said today, I meant. You don't have to give me an answer right now. I'll wait for you. I took a deep breath. Even though my heart was pounding wildly, I didn't pull my hand away. Chapter 28. After returning from the cafe to my apartment, I ran into someone downstairs I had already expected to see. Samuel. Ever since the last time he came over without warning, I had already had someone change the locks to the apartment. Now he was wearing a black coat, leaning beneath the streetlight, and there was a faint air of loneliness and desolation about him. The direction of public opinion online had already completely changed. I didn't know whether it was because the netizens had finally come to their senses, or because some other accounts had started steering the conversation. Everyone was saying that Samuel had deliberately kept the relationship underground before, then threw the blame onto the actress once it was exposed. And now, after the breakup, he was secretly trying to make it public to win her back. It was disgusting. I glanced at it once and exited the page. After all, when it came to Samuel, I no longer wanted to have too much to do with him. But in the end, there was no avoiding him. As I walked past Samuel, he grabbed my wrist. The man lowered his head, his brows and eyes drooping. His voice was hoarse, as if it had been ground over sand and stone. Diana, do you really want to break up? After all these years, when we were already at the point of getting married, you want to stop now? But before, his lips trembled, and his voice took on a choked edge. Didn't you love me so much? Yes, I did love him very much. I loved him enough to stay in a secret relationship for him, to bear the curses of countless people for him, to keep dreaming endless, meaningless daydreams for him. But, Samuel, no matter how much love there is, it can still be worn away. Every time you pushed me away again and again, it meant there was no longer any possibility for us. Under my indifferent gaze, Samuel closed his eyes, as though he truly couldn't bear it any longer. A tear fell from him. Is it because of Bruno? If it weren't for him, would we not have ended up like this? I have always kept an open attitude toward my future self, and I really was somewhat moved by Bruno's offer. But the end of my relationship with Samuel had nothing to do with anyone else. I shook off his hand and gently shook my head. You know it too. The ending would have been the same. Samuel, let's stop here. I would not look back again. I strode forward without hesitation. Extra, Samuel. Chapter 1. At the beginning, Samuel had only wanted to date Diana casually. She was undeniably pretty, and her temperament was soft and gentle. She made for a perfectly decent girlfriend. But marriage? Someone from the entertainment industry simply wasn't qualified. Since it was only meant to be a fleeting affair, a brief bit of fun, there was no need to make it public. During that time, the most Samuel ever did was bring her around to meet a few of the friends he partied and hung out with. He never introduced her to people from his own social class, nor to anyone from the business world. But Samuel knew that she wanted to appear in public by his side. She would always bring it up carefully, cautiously. Samuel, when can we stop keeping this relationship secret? In the future, I'm going down the serious acting route, so even if we make the relationship public, it won't affect me that much. That girl that day was sitting right next to you, practically leaning her whole body onto you. I was so mad, but I couldn't just walk over and snap at her. Sigh. Will your elders introduce you to blind dates? Samuel, I feel so insecure. After hearing that kind of thing too many times, Samuel began to feel irritated, until the paparazzi exposed the rumors between him and Diana. Samuel only had to do the most casual little investigation to know that Diana was the one who had leaked the photo, and since he was already tired of it anyway, he simply took the chance to break up with her. Then he deleted every last way of contacting her. Chapter 2. After breaking up with Diana, Samuel really did enjoy a period of peace and quiet. He went to work as usual, attended meetings, traveled on business, signed contracts worth tens of millions and hundreds of millions. His mind clear, his heart without the slightest ripple, until one evening at a banquet. During the dinner, someone brought up the entertainment industry. Oh, right. Have you heard about that young master? Bruno. He became a director, and he's actually really impressive too. His film won several awards, and in half a year he'll be back in the country preparing a new project. He's still casting now. There must be loads of actors in the industry desperate to get close to him. I did hear that he has an actress in mind, though I think her name is Diana? Samuel thought. It was Diana. When the banquet ended, the driver came over at the usual time to pick the boss up. Samuel had drunk quite a lot. The driver asked where he wanted to go. Sitting in the back seat, looking out at the streetscape slipping by outside the window, Samuel suddenly laughed. Back to the villa in the western suburbs. He picked up his phone and began dialing Diana's number. At the drinks tonight, someone said they wanted to introduce her to some film resources. I should tell her. She'll be over the moon. Before he could finish the thought, all that came from the other end was the busy signal. That blocked number tone. Samuel froze for a moment, and suddenly, the alcohol left him. So that was it. He and Diana had already broken up. Chapter 3. The emotional backlash after the breakup finally came. Samuel started thinking about Diana nonstop, thinking about the way she used to stick close to his side. He thought, why isn't she coming to cling to him and ask to get back together? Samuel tried cutting off several of her resources, but there was still no reaction from her side. At last, he couldn't hold back anymore and drove straight to the set where she was filming. Because of the recent public scandal, the projects Diana was getting now weren't very good. It was only a low-budget web drama, but she didn't look dejected at all. It was as if the breakup hadn't troubled her in the slightest. Samuel felt angry, and also unwilling to accept it. He hadn't been eating well or sleeping well during this time, so why was she the only one living so freely and comfortably? So the moment he opened his mouth, the words he had originally planned came out edged with thorns. Diana, have your resources gotten so bad now that you're filming things at this level? I have a pretty good movie script on hand. Do you want to give it a try? That film production was exactly the one Bruno was now preparing. Samuel called Bruno again and recommended Diana to him once more. This was probably the single thing he would regret most in his entire life. Chapter 4. After getting back together with Diana for the second time, Samuel felt that she had changed. She no longer clung to him the way she used to. She also stopped constantly trying to make their relationship public in subtle ways. Whenever women hovered around Samuel, she always acted completely indifferent, sitting off to the side with a cold expression on her face, as if it had nothing to do with her. It was almost as if she hadn't chosen to get back together with him because of love at all, but simply for resources and personal gain. An endless wave of panic suddenly spread through Samuel's heart. A kind of unease he had never felt before seized him tightly, dragging him down like a swamp. He watched Diana become more confident, more radiant. On set, there were always quite a few young male actors drifting toward her, wanting to get to know her, wanting to add her contact. They called her Big Sis over and over, and their hands were practically about to land on her shoulders. Every time something like that happened, Samuel felt miserable. Inside, he was screaming to drive all of them away, to tell them that Diana had a boyfriend, that they should have some decency. But the moment he took a step toward Diana, she would turn her head away as if she were looking at a stranger. At most, she would call him boss, with a distance that made it seem as if the two of them hardly knew each other. Samuel felt a suffocating tightness in his chest. He desperately wanted to ask her whether all this careful avoidance meant she had been planning to break up all along. And just as he had sensed, their second reconciliation did not last long. Only a few months. Then Diana broke up with him. Chapter 5. In the second month after the breakup, the film Diana had made was released. That major production lived up to expectations, achieving both critical acclaim and award success, with praise pouring in from all sides. She played the second female lead, and that year she practically swept the Best Supporting Actress awards. At the award ceremony, she went on stage to deliver her acceptance speech. She mentioned her family, and she mentioned Roxana. She also mentioned Bruno. I'm very grateful to him for helping me when I was going through a difficult time. It was his guidance on this film that allowed my acting to improve so quickly. Holding the trophy, she smiled at the people below the stage. Mr. Bruno, you'll have to keep giving me lots of guidance from now on too. The host had sharp instincts and quickly held out the microphone. May I ask? Some time ago, the director publicly confessed to you on Weibo and said he wanted to pursue you. So may I ask, what is the relationship between the two of you now? Diana blinked lightly, as if passing along some kind of signal. Bruno stood up. He strode onto the stage and wrapped an arm around Diana's waist. He smiled faintly, looking so deeply satisfied. His gaze swept across the audience below, as though he had never noticed the lonely, desolate figure in the corner at all. We are a couple dating with the intention of marriage. He lowered his head slightly, his lips brushing the corner of Diana's eye. We are two people who love each other and want to spend a lifetime together.